Welcome back to the KFiles. Today we are talking about fire. Welcome back to the Lush Basement Office. I am your host, Katie Moeller.
And I am your co-host, Crowley, and we're coming at you live from HollywoodRedux.com.
We're talking about fire today.
We are, and I'm pretty freaking excited for who's in it.
Yeah, it is one of my all-time favorite monsters of the week, Cecil Lively, played by Mark Sheppard.
Mark Sheppard.
Mr. Crowley himself from Supernatural,
you know
Supernatural
what, though?
fame.
And I did mention this like right before the episode. It's interesting how he is always around fire and hell and just being the Dark Lord himself, you know? Kind of just interesting role for him to naturally play.
Yeah, you have to wonder what about him personally.
Hey man,
about
I'm not
Mr.
complaining
Sheppard.
at all. That's I'm a fan.
Well, because he seems like such a sweetheart at Comic-Con. Like, we've been to the Supernatural panel at Comic-Con a couple of years. Yeah. And he's always the sweetest guy. He loves it so much.
I know. I'm pretty excited.
And yet...
This episode.
And yet, he's going to light some children on fire.
I know, right? Even better.
Yeah. When he was young, too. That was like one of his early days. He was lighting children on fire. That was the precursor to being the king of hell.
Yeah, there you go.
It was like trying to kill little English children with, 5th and 6th degree
English, American, doesn't matter. They're all the same. Fuck it.
I know, right? To him. Well, because he adopted many disguises. He was American. He was Bob. Killer Bob.
Hold on. Out of all the names, though, Bob, really?
That was the caretaker's name. He took on he killed
Bob
and then adopted his identity.
I guess Bob is a killable character or whatever.
It is a very red shirty name. I give you that. Yeah. So I feel like if somebody named Bob turns up on the X-Files, he's probably getting murdered.
Yeah, probably. All right, it makes sense. Okay, cool. We can move on. Let's go.
We challenge you, viewing audience, to find any other Bobs in the X-Files history that have...
That should be a drinking game. There's
find the Bobs?
Many drinking games in the X-Files.
Yeah. Well, we drink every time. We drank, in this episode, we drank Scully's glasses. That's a big drink.
This is true.
Yeah.
You were very excited for when that happened.
Yeah,
by the
Scully
way.
glasses, Mulder glasses.
Mulder glasses was another one. That's right.
Yeah. But in Fire, the episode we're talking about here today, Mulder has to face his fear, which is personified in the character of Phoebe Green, who shows up, a character from his past.
That's true.
We're talking about an ex-girlfriend. It's an X on the X-Files.
X on the X-Files.
So there's a joke somewhere in there with X's.
I
leave it to you.
I have to say, he was pretty excited to see his ex, I think.
Yeah, well, she's exciting at first, I think, is the point of Phoebe, is that at first she
Miss Green.
Yeah, tantalizes you, but then ultimately you find that it's not worth it. Not worth the pain. Yeah. That's what Mulder says.
Apparently
Scully.
not, man. She was already like with the husband as well, so she was a little busy.
Yeah, well, she is fire. Scully, when Scully's profiling... Scully profiles the killer, and she also profiles Phoebe Green in the episode. Mm-hmm. She says, she describes a person who is maladjusted, who uses their gifts and killing to basically, compensate for bad social graces, essentially, is what Scully says. And that's Phoebe too. That's not just Cecil, but it's also what Phoebe does to Mulder. Like, she is compensating for whatever she feels she's lacking, and she takes that on poor Mulder by making him, manifesting her power over him, making him walk through fire. Right. Scully points it out
he was terrified of fire.
Simply.
Terrified.
Yeah. Well, he tells that story. He has a history. But it's interesting because we never really
He could have not
see
been
it again.
a firefighter at all.
No
way, man.
Well, and he's red-green colorblind, so technically he shouldn't have even really gone into the FBI. I mean, I think the eyesight test, I think that might be like a unfortunate thing at the heart of the X-Files. But it's one of those things that pops up in the episode as part of the story in the episode, but never really plays out again on the show. There are a couple things like that. The red green colorblind thing is actually another thing that you mention it once because it serves the plot of the episode, and then you never mention it again because it's it's not that authentic. It doesn't read that Muldery in the end. And like the Phoebe Green thing is kind of like that too. Actually, for Scully, that's that way too, because she has an episode, Lazarus, that she gets interaction with an ex too. And there's another episode that we watched not too long ago, All Things, where she encounters an ex.
A lot of exes.
Yeah, so there we see these people pop up on the show. It's fun. It's like a fun little rogues gallery of its own.
I have a question. Were we meant to see Scully this jealous early on?
You know, I used to agree with you that she was jealous, and I do agree that it was odd behavior
for sure.
Yeah, she is a territorial person. She's territorial because
I like that a lot better,
she staked her claim on Mulder because not in this part of their relationship, it's not really so much romantic as a shared journey. And so she claims Mulder for this part of the journey, and they have their own special simpatico, special bond.
Right. So they are partners. I mean,
yeah, exactly. There's special trust there because of the partnership, and then there's a little something extra special because it's Mulder and Scully. Right. And there is that romantic element too, of course. You can't deny. I mean, there's a green glint in her eye,
always,
no doubt.
Always, Katie.
And, she gets so emotional. It's great. It's a lot of fun to watch. Jealous Scully, jealous glasses Scully. Woo!
I mean, it usually never happens, so it's like a little rare gem when it's thrown into the episode. It's like, fucking take a drink to that. Go quick.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, relish it. Talk about it for years to come, at least. So I think we're doing it. We're paying it justice here on this show. But yeah, no. The best thing about what comes after is this episode is poised right between Eve and Beyond the Sea, and in Eve we see there's some really fun interplay between them in that episode with the clones, with the evil clones. And there's that really cute bit where Mulder just does it to like knock the poison drink out of Scully's hand. He does it to save her life, but he kind of flirts with her, like holds the door and flirts with her. It's really sweet.
Naturally.
And it's like he does that to not, to keep her from poisoning herself, but at the same time it's like kind of a glimpse into like, I don't know how it might also be. So we have that kind of like little romantic thing happening there. Then to have this where we're talking about trust and Mulder seeing that he has to let some things from his past go to move forward in this shared journey with Scully. Like everybody's learning stuff. And Scully, of course, is jealous too. But I think she's like also just trying to get Mulder where he needs to be too, because she can see where they're going. So she's trying to guide them that way too.
I can see that.
And then after this episode is Beyond the Sea, which is when her dad dies. That episode when her dad dies, and she and they're dealing with that really bad serial killer in prison, the psychic Luther Lee Boggs. Right. Mulder gets shot, and it's very emotional. So it's like she's like on that little trio of episodes where we're in the middle of
roller coaster emotions. That's what it is.
For Scully, yeah. So it's like we're right in the middle for Scully.
That's insane. Pretty excited for that.
Yeah. So this episode was written by good old Chris Carter, the king of us, the king of X. It was directed by a guy named Larry Shaw, who directed a lot of early episodes. And I think it's one of the very best of the first season in terms of writing.
This would be a monster episode, right?
Yeah. It's a monster of the week, and
it's a good monster.
It's a great monster.
What's Mark Sheppard? I mean, come on.
Yeah, isn't he just a delight?
Dude,
as that character?
Badass. No matter what, I love the fact that he's always that devil type fire character.
He's like a Joker in that.
It's like Supernatural was for
he's
him.
Like the Joker grin, yeah, and it's like he's got so much like mania in his eyes in this role.
He's a really good actor, and very good actor.
and so poised with the fire element. God, like I remember back reading when I was reading my episode guides that nobody really got hurt by the fire. Mark Sheppard didn't really do too many stunts. He bowed out of the stunts for the most part.
Well, I would hope so.
But Mulder burnt his hand, or Duchovny burnt his hand. I do remember that. Oh. Duchovny burnt his hand. There was like a permanent scar. It was a big deal.
Battle
Duchovny
scar.
burnt his hand. Yeah. So Mulder walked through fire and Duchovny got burned. You tell me what that means.
It's XFiles. It could mean a lot of things, man.
We're through the looking glass on fire. But yeah, I think Cecil Lively belongs in the Rogues Gallery Hall of Fame for sure.
Very
and Phoebe Green too, because she's her own special monster.
Yeah, I agree.
She's her own monster of the week.
She's a
for
whole
Mulder.
like other situation. She's a whole other podcast, Katie.
Well, she sprang out of Mulder's psyche. She was there to haunt Mulder, and the case is just so that it's
a character we should talk about actually.
Oh yes,
or at least that past.
Yeah, for sure. But you get the feeling there were some torrid affairs at Oxford.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, fiery episode is fire. Very feisty. The writing is excellent and serviceable direction. The fire stunts are really cool. Great special effects as always. I mean, it was the first season of the show, so this was 1993 they were doing this on TV in Vancouver. The achievement is not to be ignored.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
In terms of filmmaking, everything, TV production, all around. That's the real story here. And for fire, maybe. But the character story is great, too. Solid. Moves us along. That's it for fire. I hope you have 5th and 6th degree burns from the light of truth that we have shined upon it.
Nice.
That is my wish for this episode.
Very nice.
I'm your host, Katie Moeller.
And I'm your co-host, Chrysalia.
You're my host. You're not my co-host.
Oh, well,
You're
thanks,
my
Katie.
host.
Oh, thanks, Katie.
This is my host, Chrysalia Lopez.
You're sweet.
And this is the KFiles, and we are
promoted on the KFiles, man.
I wish I could dub you. I wish I had like a sword or a flashlight. I could dub you with next time. Next time on the KFiles, Chrysalia gets knighted by a flashlight.
Dreams come true, man. Just
only on HollywoodRedux.com. Where you can also find many other cool podcasts, including a video game podcast called Infinite Grenade Launcher, a movie review podcast called The Writer's Room. That's right. Lots of shorts and sketches coming to you even more as we get into the summer months.
So don't forget to subscribe, guys,
and subscribe below and around.
Comment if we miss anything.
Yes, tell us what you thought. Please
No dislikes.
Like us.
Well, I guess you're entitled to your own opinion.
The truth. Like if you like the truth.
I like that, Katie.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah.